The demon grabbed Ngozi, pulling her towards the shadows. She screamed, and her parents burst into the room. "What's happening?" Nkem cried. "They are taking me," Ngozi shouted, screaming. "Daddy, Mommy, help me." Ngozi's dad grabbed his Bible and Nkem began praying loudly. "In the name of Jesus, leave my daughter alone," they cried. The room shook as the shadows swirled around Ngozi. The demon screamed and tried to pull her into the darkness, but her parents didn't stop praying. Flipping through his Bible, Ngozi's father began reciting Psalm 91, his voice strong and steady. Ngozi felt the demon loosening their grip as her parents prayed. She closed her eyes and began to pray too. "God, please save me," she whispered. "I don't want to go with them." The demon grew weaker, their screams fading into whispers. Finally, with one last roar, they disappeared, leaving the room silent. Ngozi collapsed into her mother's arms, sobbing. Ngozi grew up and graduated from the university. She got a good job at the age of 20. She lived in the bustling city of her country. She was breathtakingly beautiful. Her skin glowed like the morning sun, her eyes sparkled like stars, and her smile could stop traffic. Men could stop and stare when she walked by, and women would whisper about her beauty. But Ngozi had a secret. She wasn't just beautiful, she was sent from another realm. In fact, she was their goddess. Ngozi wasn't an ordinary human. She was born into a family with ties to a powerful spiritual kingdom under the water. From childhood, her destiny had been sealed. She was sent back to the human world on a mission. Her task was simple but dangerous. She was to use her beauty to destroy men. She was supposed to lure them with her charm, sleep with them, and ruin their lives. They would lose their wealth, their families, and even their health. The friends from her kingdom reminded her of her mission constantly. They visited her in her dreams and sometimes even appeared to her in mirrors. "You are not just a woman," they would say. "You are a goddess. You have power over them. Use it." Ngozi grew up knowing that she has power to control and manipulate people. But there was one problem. Ngozi thought she was too big for the task. Ngozi had a mind of her own. She hated the idea of lowering herself to sleep with men, not even for a mission. "Why should I?" she would argue with the spirit friends. "I am a goddess. They are beneath me. Why should I defile myself with them?" The friends grew angry. "You have been given power for a purpose. You must fulfill your assignment." But Ngozi refused. She thought herself too grand, too royal, to stoop so low. She saw men as her subjects, not her equals. "Let someone else do it," she told the spirit friends. Ngozi remembered the prayers her mother had whispered over her every night. She remembered the love and discipline her mother had shown her. Deep down, she knew she couldn't bring herself to destroy lives. Ngozi's refusal didn't stop her from living her life. She stayed in this city where her beauty made her an instant sensation. Everyone wanted to know her, but Ngozi was careful not to let anyone get too close. She went to nightclubs, not to lure men, but to enjoy the music and the attention. Men would approach her with expensive gifts, but she would dismiss them with a wave of her hand. She danced alone, her movements mesmerizing as if she was in a world of her own. But the demonic ruler and his demons were watching. The demonic ruler and his demons grew angrier with each passing day. "She is mocking us," one of them shouted. "She goes to nightclubs but refuses to do what she was sent for. She must be punished, another said. One night, as Ngozi slept, the demons came to her in her dreams. You dare to defy us, they eased. Ngozi stood tall, even in her dream. I am too powerful to be used by anyone, even you, she said. The demons laughed darkly. You may think you are powerful, but we made you, and if you will not obey, we will take you back to the kingdom. Ngozi remembered how her mother used to pray for her every night. Her mother would say to her, no power is greater than God's power. Her mother's faith had always annoyed the demons. They tried to keep Ngozi away from those teachings, but some of them had stuck. Now, those prayers were the only thing protecting her. From that night on, Ngozi's life took more darker turn. Strange things began to happen around her. When she looked into mirrors, she would see shadowy figures standing behind her. At night, she would hear whispers in her ears, voices calling her back to her kingdom. One evening, as she was driving home from a nightclub, she felt an icy wind blow through her. Suddenly, she couldn't move. It was as if invisible hands were holding her in place. She struggled and managed to whisper a prayer her mother had taught her as a child. Instantly, the grip loosened and she drove home, trembling. I need to leave, Ngozi thought. If I go far away, they can't reach me. So Ngozi sold everything she owned and moved to Ghana. She settled in Accra, a bustling city where she believed she could disappear among the crowds. She opened a big shop selling handcrafted jewelry. At first, everything seemed perfect. Her shop quickly gained popularity and she felt at peace, but the peace didn't last. One night, as she slept, she felt a chilling presence in her room. She woke up to see shadows swirling around her, forming shapes she couldn't recognize. The whispers returned, louder this time. You cannot run from us. Ngozi, we can see you. We will destroy everything you have built. The next morning, her shop was robbed. All her jewelry was gone and her savings were stolen. She reported it to the police, but nothing came of it. Determined to find peace, Ngozi moved to Kenya. She settled in Nairobi and started another business, this time selling imported fabrics. She worked hard and her business grew quickly. She even began to make friends, something she hadn't allowed herself to do in Ghana. But just when she thought she had escaped the spirits, the torment began again. Her fabrics arrived damaged, though they had been in perfect condition when shipped. Customers accused her of cheating them, and rumors spread that her shop was cursed. One night, her house caught fire. She barely escaped with her life. You can't run from us, the whispers came again. You belong to us. Ngozi refused to give up. She moved to South Africa, hoping that the distance would finally free her from the spirits. In Johannesburg, she started a new business, this time renting out apartments. She thought she was finally safe. For months, her business thrived. She began to rebuild her life, even allowing herself to dream of a future without fear. But the demons were relentless. Her tenants began to complain of strange occurrences in the apartments. Light flickering, doors slamming on their own, and whispers in the middle of the night. One tenant left in the middle of the night, claiming he had seen a snake in his room that disappeared into thin air. Soon, no one wanted to rent from her. Exhausted and desperate, Ngozi moved to Egypt. She hoped the spiritual energy of the ancient land would protect her. She opened a big restaurant in Cairo, serving traditional African dishes. She poured her heart into it, determined to make it work. But the demons followed her. Customers began to complain about the food, saying it tasted strange or made them sick. One day, the health inspectors arrived and shut down her restaurant, claiming they had found evidence of contamination. Ngozi knew it was the demons doing. That night, they came to her in a dream. "Stop running, Ngozi. You cannot escape us. Either complete your mission or return to us." Ngozi couldn't take it anymore. She had lost everything again and again. She decided to travel back home to seek for help. Ngozi started going from one church to another. There are times she will pay some men of God, hoping they will communicate with God very well so she can be saved. She later met a pastor who told her that if he sleeps with her, that the Spirit of God in him will subdue any power. Because Ngozi refused him, he later on called his members and told them that Ngozi was a witch and that she is trying to seduce him. So Ngozi left his church. While still seeking for help, she met another man of God who told her to come to his house so the wife and him could pray for her. On the day Ngozi got there, the wife of the pastor collapsed while they were praying, and the daughter suddenly became very sick. Ngozi became confused. The demonic ruler appeared to her, though the pastor didn't see him. He asked Ngozi what she was doing here and why is she fooling these people. Ngozi, scared, got up and ran away from the demonic ruler. Ngozi became confused and didn't know who to turn to, so she decided to see a native doctor to help her. She told him to help close every way that the demons are able to see and locate her. The witch doctor told her, "No, I cannot do this. You know I got my power from you. How can I begin to work on you when you are stronger than me?" So Ngozi left, disappointed, and got home, and she became depressed. Broken and frustrated, Ngozi decided to travel and settle in England. She got a good job in a big company. Keeping to herself, there she met Frank, a British black gentleman with kind eyes and a warm smile. Frank was everything Ngozi didn't expect to find: handsome, kind, patient, and understanding. He didn't care about her beauty or her mysterious past. He simply enjoyed her company. Slowly, Ngozi began to trust him. They spent evenings walking through the park, sharing stories about their lives. Frank would bring her fresh flowers every morning, and Ngozi found herself laughing in ways she hadn't in years. For the first time, she dreamt of a normal life. She wanted to marry Frank, settle down, and leave her past behind. When the demons learned of her plans, they were furious. Ngozi was not meant to love or marry. She belonged to the kingdom. One night, she dreamt of being dragged into the sea by dark, shadowy figures. "You dare to love a human?" they spat. "We will destroy him and take you back." Ngozi woke up trembling but refused to back down. She told Frank everything: the demons, her mission, and the dangers they face. To her surprise, Frank believed her. "We will fight them together," he said. The demons didn't wait long to strike. Frank's business deals began failing. Strange accidents happened around him, and he even fell seriously ill. Ngozi knew the demons were trying to scare her into submission. Desperate, she called her brother Obi. Obi was different from most young men in their town. He was deeply spiritual and had a heart for God. After completing his secondary education, Obi felt a strong call to ministry and decided to attend a Bible college in a nearby town. While at the Bible college, Obi learned about spiritual warfare and the power of prayer. During the call Ngozi put to her brother Obi, she sounded tired and scared. Ngozi broke down in tears and told her brother everything she has been passing through Since the last time they saw each other, Obi told her to stop crying. We will fight this together. God is bigger than them. He also told her to please come back home so they can see a man of God together. Obi immediately began praying for his sister. He contacted several pastors he met during his time at the Bible college, asking for advice. Most offered prayers, but one name kept coming up: Pastor Joshua, a man known for his deliverance ministry. Pastor Joshua lived in a city a few hours away. He was known for his boldness in confronting demonic powers. Obi decided to visit him and explain Ngozi's situation. When Obi met Pastor Joshua, he was struck by the man's humility. After listening carefully, Pastor Joshua said, "Bring her here. We will pray and God will deliver her." Ngozi came back home with her fiancé Frank. The day of the deliverance came quickly. Ngozi, Frank, Obi, and their parents traveled to Pastor Joshua's church. Ngozi was nervous, unsure if she had the strength to face whatever would happen. The service was intense. Pastor Joshua led the congregation in powerful prayers, calling on the name of Jesus. As the prayers grew louder, Ngozi began to feel a heaviness in her chest. Suddenly, she screamed and fell to the ground. Pastor Joshua approached her, commanding the demons to reveal themselves. Ngozi's voice changed, becoming deep and raspy. "She is ours," the voice growled. "She was sent for a purpose, and she has failed us." Pastor Joshua was unfazed. "She belongs to Jesus Christ now," he declared. The battle lasted hours. Ngozi thrashed and screamed, but the church continued to pray. Finally, she let out a piercing cry and collapsed. When she woke up, she felt lighter, as though a great weight had been lifted. Ngozi's life changed after that day. Her career began to thrive again, and she and her fiancé started attending church with her family. The nightmares stopped and the voices disappeared. Obi continued his ministry, sharing his sister's story to encourage others. Ngozi and Frank got married in a lavish ceremony. Ngozi never forgot the battle she faced, but she knew it was her family's love and God's power that saved her. The moral lessons of the story is that all possessed children can still be delivered by the mighty power of God. So parents, don't lose hope. Only continue to pray. A possessed person seeking spiritual freedom should stay close to God and get deeper in the things of God, for this can help them get deliverance quickly. Just as there are fake pastors, so also there are genuine pastors that we can still take our problems to. We only need to pray more and ask God for God's direction on where to go. Remember, when you receive spiritual attack, call on the name of Jesus, for he is well able to deliver you from any forces of hell. Thanks for watching.